Alright, update on Elon. So it looks like we've had a convincing local bottom, in my opinion. Now let's run through the chart because there's a few different things to talk about. I'm going to finish off with the momentum indicators because I think these have the most bullish sign going on this chart right now, and I will talk about that in just one moment. So if we start off with the lower time frames, coming into the 4 hour, the bears are still in control of this, but you can kind of see we're having a tiny bit of green coming in right now. And in the last 4 hourly candle, we had a huge influx of buying volume. We saw that a couple of days ago as well. So the buying volume is gradually increasing. Nothing too crazy. We're currently getting rejected while we're running into these 4 hourly EMA ribbons. So I would really like to see continuation on this one. Nonetheless, if we come down to the lower time frames, we have recently fired a 1 hourly long on the EMA ribbons as these have flipped bullish. We saw a lot of volume coming in once we did flip these to the upside, which is a good sign. It looks like the bullish momentum is currently being reset. So like I said, we really need to see continuation at this point. We need to keep pushing up. Elon has been beaten down for a little while now, so I mean it really does need to start waking up at some point soon. If we look at the 4 hourly, we're really not out of the jungle until we do come and break this long-term moving average on this fib here. If I mark the short-term moving average slightly thicker, every time I mark it, it disappears by the next video. But you can see this is your long-term moving average at the top here, 813 approximately. Until we get above there, at least in the lower time frames, we're really not out of the blue. But I do think this was a convincing bottom for Elon. We're going to have to keep you updated on that one, because you know you could chop this a few different ways. You could also argue that we are in a descending channel to the downside, and you could argue that we have just recently topped out, and I would somewhat understand and agree with that analysis. But nonetheless, I do think this macro bottom down here at the 786 fib is going to be the bottom. I could see us potentially having a quick throwback to another lower level, but I really don't see us coming that much further down. If we draw a fib like this, you can see we've had a back test of the 618 fib already. Worst case scenario, I see us coming down to the 0.5779 before we do continue this uptrend. Now, what I really want to talk about, the most important thing in this video, in my opinion, if we look at the daily momentum indicators. Now, brushing off from the fact that we've just fired a short on the daily EMAs, which is not a good sign. The last time we fired a daily short, we were all the way up here at 1.3 and we completely collapsed all the way down. I mean, we had a 63% drop within like a few days. So not what you want to see, that we have once again put in a daily short on this. Nonetheless, it's what we've got to deal with. But I want to show you the momentum indicators because I think these show a slightly different story than the potential fake out we're seeing on the daily EMA ribbons. Either way, it is not too good to see daily EMA ribbons fired to the downside. That is just my opinion. Now, I want to show you what happens when we have these momentum shifts. So if we start off since our last green momentum shift, we'll start here. You can see the daily squeeze bomb fired to the upside on the 24th of March. So if we look at what happened on the 24th of March, we were all the way down here, and we had from the 24th of the opening, we had a huge rally up 75%. What then happened, we topped out around this region at 1080. We started putting in dark green candles, which means the bears are losing momentum, and we were shifting into a downtrend for the bulls. This carried us all the way down to this wick that we saw yesterday on the 18th of April. That was a 30% move to the downside. Now, what are we seeing today and what are we seeing yesterday on the 18th and 19th of April? So yesterday, these candles started turning dark red again, indicative that the bears are losing control of this movement to the downside. And like I said, what happened the last time we had a bullish shift in momentum? We had a huge 70% rally. What happened once we topped out on the momentum? We had a 30% move to the downside. And once again, we're shifting gears in terms of what direction the momentum is going, and we're heading back to the upside. So I'm liking what we're seeing here. All in all, though, you know, we're not necessarily safe. We could have a quick flush out back down to the resistance down here, but I think this is a good enough retest. And why I think this is a huge area of support slash resistance is you can see this was the previous all-time high. This downtrending trend line has been in play since the 30th of October 2021, and we had a huge breakout, we had a throwback, we somewhat bounced from it, not a crazy bounce, as in like we didn't really come down to the trend line, but we did bottom at the 786 fib. So like I said, we need to see momentum stepping in at this point. If we come down to the lower time frames, if we start, you know, pulling back down to these micro 618 levels like 769, then, you know, once again the hourly momentum is going to be back in favor of the bears, and then, you know, this will carry weight over to potentially a rejection on the 4 hourly EMAs, which would mean on the daily these short-term moving averages on the EMA ribbons are going to keep falling down and bringing down Elon's price. So we're not out of the blue yet. We need to get above these EMA ribbons. Keep your eyes on the 618 fib. I think in the next day or so, these short-term moving averages on the daily are going to be at this 618 anyway. So 838, that's the most important level we need to take out. Once we take that out, we can be a lot more bullish on the price action we see on DogelonMars. So that is all I've got for you today. I'm still sitting on the sidelines. I have been buying Elon. I said it in some of my videos, like 50% of my videos I say like, oh, I might look and see if there's a lower price target, and recently for the past week I've been saying, you know, I'm buying at these levels, I'm buying at these levels. So basically at the levels we're at right now. I mean, nothing has changed since when I bought a couple of days / a week ago. So that's all I see for Elon. I'd like to see continuation, push us above the 836, and then we'll be above the short-term moving average on the daily EMAs if we get up there in the next day or so. So that is all I see for Elon. Best of luck if you're in it. Once again, none of this is financial advice, just my opinion on the market, and you've always got to do what's best for you. Cowboy out. Peace.